The Silent Watchers. The quantum sensors aboard the Meridian observation post Epsilon 7 had been monitoring the same patch of space for over 3 centuries when they detected the first anomaly. Senior observer Vextel's crystalline appendages shifted color from their usual calm blue to an agitated purple as the readings scrolled across their neural interface. "Impossible," they whispered, their crystalline form casting prismatic reflections across the observation deck. The energy signature was unlike anything recorded in the collective's vast archives, a peculiar blend of controlled fusion and something else, something that shouldn't exist at that technological level. The source, a seemingly unremarkable spiral arm of the galaxy, and within it, an equally unremarkable yellow star. What made this star remarkable was not its composition or its age, but rather the third planet in its system and the beings that called it home. Humans. The Meridian Collective had first noticed Earth 50 years ago, when primitive radio signals began leaking into space. Standard protocol dictated observation without interference. All spacefaring races were to be monitored until they achieved certain technological benchmarks. But humans weren't following the expected progression of technological development that the collective had documented across thousands of species. They were moving too fast. Vextel initiated a priority link to the collective's High Council, their crystalline form vibrating with barely contained anxiety. Within moments, the observation deck transformed into a virtual assembly of the most powerful beings in known space. 12 distinct forms materialized, some organic, others mechanical, and a few that defied conventional classification. High Counselor Zaraxus, a being of pure energy contained within an ancient mechanical shell, spoke first. "Your alert indicates a Class 1 anomaly, Observer Vextel." "Explain." "Honorable Council," Vextel began, their form projecting the sensor data into the shared virtual space. "The humans have achieved what we believed impossible. They've developed controlled quantum field manipulation without first mastering basic interplanetary travel." The council chamber erupted in a chaos of overlapping communications. It was First Speaker Nihilith, an ancient being composed of living mathematics who restored order. "Show us," they commanded. Vextel expanded the sensor readings, revealing a massive structure taking shape in Earth orbit. The humans were building something, and its scale defied conventional wisdom. Most species began with small orbital stations, tentative steps into the void. But this was ambition given form. "They're calling it the Avalon Project," Vextel explained, their color shifting to a deep green of concern. "Our deep space monitoring suggests it's both a research vessel and a diplomatic ship. But its energy signature, council members, they've somehow developed quantum field manipulation technology that our models suggest shouldn't be possible for at least another 1,000 years of development." The implications were staggering. The Meridian Collective had maintained order in this sector of the galaxy for millennia by carefully managing the advancement of emerging civilizations. Their protocols were based on countless observations and statistical models. Species progressed through technological stages in a predictable order: radio, spaceflight, fusion, quantum mechanics, and eventually field manipulation. But humans had just shattered that paradigm. "There's more," Vextel continued, their form now pulsing with urgent patterns. "We've detected signs of other technological innovations that don't match any known development pattern. They've mastered artificial gravity without understanding basic space-time manipulation. They've developed quantum computing without achieving unified field theory. It's as if they're solving advanced equations without learning basic arithmetic first." High Counselor Zaraxus' mechanical form hummed with increased power draw, a sign of deep processing. "The implications are disturbing. A species that develops in such an unpredictable manner could destabilize the entire sector. Our protocols are based on predictability and control." "Perhaps," First Speaker Nihilith interjected, their mathematical form shifting through complex patterns, "we are witnessing something unprecedented. The humans appear to be intuitive innovators. They make technological leaps based on inspiration rather than linear progression. The council chamber filled with the equivalent of uncomfortable murmuring. Intuitive development was considered dangerous. It led to unpredictable outcomes and potential catastrophes. The collective had spent millennia guiding species along safe, predictable paths of advancement. "We must make a decision," Zaraxus announced. Standard protocols would dictate we wait another century before initiating contact. But these humans, the High Counselor's mechanical form projected a series of probability matrices into the shared space. If they continue at their current rate of advancement, they could achieve capabilities beyond our prediction models within decades. First speaker Nileth's form calculated rapidly. "We have three options. We can maintain observation and risk them developing beyond our ability to guide them. We can attempt to slow their progress through indirect means. Or we can initiate contact now." Vextal finished, their crystalline form shifting to the deep gold of revelation. "Break with protocol and approach them as equals rather than as guides." The council erupted again. But this time the chaos had an undertone of fear. The collective had never approached an emerging species as equals. Their entire philosophy was built around careful guidance and controlled advancement. As the debate raged, Vextal's sensors detected new activity around Earth. The Avalon project was entering its final phases of construction. Whatever decision the council would make, they would need to make it quickly. Humanity wasn't waiting for permission to reach for the stars. They were already grasping them. In the depths of space, quantum sensors continued their silent watch, recording the birth of something new in the galaxy, a species that wrote its own rules of advancement. And in Earth orbit, unaware of the cosmic debate their achievements had sparked, humans continued building their first great starship, their dreams as vast as the void they sought to explore. The age of predictable advancement was ending. The age of human innovation was about to begin. Project Stellaris. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation window of Luna Base, watching the massive shape of humanity's greatest achievement take form against the star-studded backdrop of space. The HMS Avalon wasn't just a ship. It was a declaration to the cosmos that humanity was ready to join the galactic community. "Beautiful, isn't she?" The voice belonged to Admiral James Martinez, Project Stellaris's military liaison. He joined her at the window, his dark eyes reflecting the construction lights that danced across the Avalon's hull. "Beautiful and impossible," Sarah replied, her fingers tracing equations in the air as her neural interface projected the calculations only she could see. "By all conventional physics, she shouldn't work. We broke about a dozen theoretical limitations getting her built." The Avalon's design had started as a dream, quite literally. Sarah had woken up 3 years ago with the quantum field equations fully formed in her mind, a breakthrough that had seemed to come from nowhere. It wasn't the first time human scientists had made such intuitive leaps, but it was perhaps the most significant. "The quantum drive is stable?" Martins asked, though he already knew the answer. He'd watched every test, held his breath with the rest of them as they proved that humans could bend the rules of physics in ways that should have taken centuries more to discover. "More than stable," Sarah said, allowing herself a small smile. "It's elegant. The field matrices practically sing to each other. It's like the universe was waiting for someone to try it this way." Behind them, the secure doors slid open with a soft hiss. Dr. Kai Patel, head of Xenoanthropology, hurried in with a tablet clutched in his hands. His usually neat appearance was disheveled, suggesting he'd been up all night again studying the data from their deep space observations. "We've got confirmation," he announced without preamble. "There's definitely someone out there watching us. Multiple someones, if our readings are correct." Sarah and Martinez exchanged glances. They'd suspected as much. It would have been more surprising if humanity's rapid technological advancement hadn't drawn attention. That was partly why Project Stellaris had been accelerated. "What do we know about them?" Martins asked, turning away from the window. Kai projected a holographic display from his tablet, showing various energy signatures and radiation patterns. "They're trying to be subtle, but we've detected multiple observation posts at the edges of our solar system. Highly advanced technology. But, he paused, frowning. It's oddly linear, predictable, like they're following a very specific technological path. While we're jumping all over the place, Sarah finished. It was true. Humanity's scientific advancement had always been chaotic, driven by sudden insights and creative leaps rather than methodical progression. The Avalon herself was proof of that, incorporating technologies that humanity had discovered out of order, combining them in ways that probably seemed impossible to outside observers. The real question, Martine said, is whether they'll see us as equals or as upstarts who need to be contained. Sarah turned back to the window, studying the Avalon's distinctive form. The ship's design was unlike anything humanity had created before, its hull incorporating organic curves and geometric patterns that seemed to catch and bend light in unusual ways. The quantum drive at its heart used principles that Sarah herself sometimes had trouble explaining. It just felt right, like a piece of music that naturally flowed from one note to the next. That's why we designed her the way we did, she said softly. The Avalon isn't just a ship, she's a message. Everything from her quantum drive to her neural interfaces shows that we can innovate, that we can think differently. But her weapons are minimal, her shield's primarily defensive. We're showing them that we can be powerful without being threatening. Kai added another set of projections to his holographic display. Latest deep space scans suggest increased activity at the observation posts. They're definitely reacting to the Avalon's construction. I think we're forcing their hand. They'll have to make contact soon. Good, Martine said firmly. Better to meet them on our terms than wait for them to decide we're ready. A soft chime from Sarah's neural interface interrupted them. She blinked, reading the notification that only she could see. The quantum drive final diagnostics are complete. All systems are nominal. She paused, allowing herself a moment of pride. The Avalon is ready. The three of them stood in silence, watching the massive ship that represented humanity's greatest achievement. Its hull seemed to shimmer slightly, the quantum field already beginning to form even at rest, like a thoroughbred pawing at the starting gate. Have we chosen her crew? Kai asked. Martinez nodded. The best we have. Scientists, diplomats, soldiers if we need them, but all of them creative thinkers. People who can adapt to whatever we find out there. He smiled slightly. Including you too, of course. We need the people who dreamed her up to help introduce her to the galaxy. Sarah felt a shiver of anticipation run down her spine. Years of work, countless theoretical breakthroughs, and more than a few impossible achievements had led to this moment. Humanity was about to step onto the galactic stage, and they were going to do it their way. Not following anyone else's rulebook, but writing their own. Through the window, Earth hung like a blue jewel against the black of space, a reminder of everything they were representing. The Avalon floated above it, almost complete, its quantum field occasionally visible as ripples of iridescence across its hull. Send the notification to all departments, Martine said, his voice carrying the weight of history. Project Stellaris is entering its final phase. The Avalon launches in 48 hours. As if in response, the quantum field around the ship pulsed once, a brilliant display of colors that shouldn't have been possible in the vacuum of space. To any watching eyes, it must have looked like a declaration. Humanity was ready to shine. The bridge between stars. The Avalon's quantum field rippled like aurora borealis as it dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the designated meeting point. The ship's sensor arrays immediately detected the Meridian Collective's delegation. 7 vessels arranged in a mathematically perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with metallic precision. On the Avalon's bridge, Sarah Chen felt her neural interface tingle as it processed the incoming data. Their ships are interesting, she said, studying the readings. Incredibly advanced, but there's almost no innovation in their design. It's like they're following a template that's been refined over thousands of years. Admiral Martinez stood at the command station, his posture relaxed but alert. efficient, but predictable. Like their entire civilization, if our observations are correct. The main view screen showed the Meridian vessels in stark detail. They were beautiful in their symmetry, each one identical to the others except for size. Their hulls were covered in patterns that Sarah recognized as mathematical expressions, a universal language that transcended spoken words. "They're hailing us," Kai announced from his station. "Standard electromagnetic frequencies. Rather primitive, considering their technology level." Martinez nodded. "They're testing us, seeing how we handle basic protocols before moving to more advanced communications." He straightened his uniform. "Let's surprise them." "Dr. Chen." Sarah smiled, her fingers dancing through holographic controls. "Quantum entanglement communicators active. Linking now." Aboard the Meridian flagship, High Counselor Zerexus experienced the electronic equivalent of shock as the humans bypassed their traditional communication systems entirely. The quantum entanglement signal arrived instantaneously, carrying not just audio and visual data, but a complete sensory package that allowed for perfect translation and cultural context. "Greetings, representatives of the Meridian Collective." Martinez's voice came through with perfect clarity. "I am Admiral James Martinez of the Earth ship Avalon. We come in peace and friendship." The silence that followed lasted exactly 3.7 seconds, the time it took for the collective's leaders to process that these humans had mastered technology that should have been centuries beyond their reach. "We receive your greetings, Earth ship Avalon." Zaraxis finally responded, their mechanical form adjusting to match the unexpected communication protocol. "Your method of contact is unconventional." Through the quantum link, Sarah could sense the mixture of surprise and unease from the alien vessels. Their rigid adherence to protocol had been disrupted from the very first moment of contact. "Humanity often takes unconventional paths," High Counselor Martinez replied diplomatically. "We believe diversity in approach leads to greater understanding." First speaker Nileth's mathematical form shifted through complex patterns as they analyzed the Avalon. "Your vessel defies our understanding. Its design incorporates principles that should be mutually exclusive. Yet here we are." Sarah spoke up, unable to contain her excitement at finally discussing the science with other advanced beings. "The quantum field matrices actually work better because they're not following conventional patterns. The chaos creates new possibilities." The Meridian leaders conferred among themselves, their communication carried as subtle vibrations in the quantum field that they didn't realize the humans could detect. They were disturbed not just by humanity's technological achievements, but by their casual attitude toward breaking theoretical limitations. "We have observed your species for some time," Zaraxis admitted finally. "Your development has been concerning. You advance without proper foundation, achieve breakthroughs without following established sequences." "With respect," Kai interjected, his anthropologist's training helping him grasp the cultural implications. "Who established these sequences? Why must advancement follow a predetermined path?" The question hung in the vacuum between the ships like a challenge. The Meridian vessels shifted slightly, their perfect formation wavering for the first time. "Order is necessary for stability," First speaker Nileth responded. "Random advancement leads to chaos, to dangers that could affect entire sectors of space. Or it leads to this." Martinez gestured to the Avalon around them. "A ship that proves the impossible is only impossible until someone approaches it from a new angle. We're not here to disrupt your order, but to show that there might be other ways to achieve progress." The quantum link hummed with increased activity as more Meridian leaders joined the conversation. Their reactions ranged from fascination to fear, from curiosity to concern. The humans were proving to be more sophisticated than expected, yet also more unpredictable. "Perhaps," Zaraxis said slowly, "there is much we could learn from each other. Your chaos might benefit from our order, and perhaps our order could benefit from your innovation." Sarah's neural interface detected a subtle shift in the quantum fields surrounding the Meridian ships. They were adapting, attempting to match the Avalon's more efficient configuration. Already they were learning, despite millennia of rigid adherence to their established patterns. That's why we're here, Martinez smiled. To build bridges between different ways of thinking. To show that humanity's place in the galaxy doesn't have to disrupt your order, it can enhance it. The conversation continued, ranging from technical discussions about quantum physics to philosophical debates about the nature of progress. With each exchange, the initial tension began to ease, replaced by growing fascination on both sides. But beneath the diplomatic exchanges and scientific discussions, both sides knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had emerged onto the galactic stage in a way no one had expected, least of all the Meridian Collective. The real question wasn't whether humans could match the collective's level of advancement. They already had, in their own unique way. The question was how this would change the galaxy's carefully maintained order. As the discussions continued, Sarah noticed something interesting in her quantum field readings. The chaos of the Avalon's field patterns and the rigid structure of the Meridian ship's fields were beginning to influence each other, creating new harmonies that neither side had anticipated. Perhaps that was humanity's true gift to the galaxy, not just their innovations, but their ability to show that chaos and order, intuition and logic, could coexist and create something greater than the sum of their parts. Trial by fire. The attack came without warning. The void between the Avalon and the Meridian fleet suddenly blazed with energy as three massive vessels materialized from what appeared to be tears in space itself. Their hulls were dark, almost consuming light, marked with geometric patterns that pulsed with an ominous red glow. Void harbingers. First speaker Nileth's voice crackled through the quantum link, their mathematical form calculating possible outcomes at incredible speed. We thought they were extinct millennia ago. The Harbinger ships moved with impossible grace, their weapons already charging. They showed no interest in communication, no desire for diplomacy. Their first salvo of energy beams sliced through space, forcing both human and Meridian vessels to take evasive action. Multiple energy signatures, unlike anything in our database, Sarah reported, her neural interface struggling to process the readings. They're using some kind of gravity-based weapon system. Admiral Martinez's response was immediate. Battle stations. Dr. Chen, get me everything you can on their technology. Kai, any historical records from the Meridian databases about these harbingers. The Meridian fleet had already formed a defensive pattern, their ships moving with mathematical precision. But their traditional tactics seemed ineffective against the Harbinger's unconventional attack patterns. Their technology appears to be based on void manipulation, Zaraxis transmitted. Our records suggest they were masters of dark energy, but their civilization destroyed itself through overuse of unstable technologies. Apparently not all of them, Martins muttered as the Avalon's quantum shields deflected another attack. Dr. Chen, options. Sarah's mind raced through possibilities, her neural interface projecting quantum calculations faster than any normal computer could process. Their void technology. It's creating micro-singularities to power their weapons. But there's a pattern to it, a rhythm we might be able to exploit. The battle intensified. The Meridian ships fought with precision and coordination, their attacks perfectly timed and positioned. But the Harbinger vessels seemed to anticipate their every move, countering their ordered strategies with chaos. Their tactical computer must be processing our attack patterns, first speaker Nileth realized. Our methodical approach has become predictable. Then let's give them something they can't predict, Martinez said. Dr. Chen, remember that quantum field modification you theorized about last week? The one that might be too unstable to test. Sarah's eyes widened. That was pure theory, Admiral. The math works, but the risks are better than certain destruction. Martinez finished. Work with the Meridian ships. Show them what we need. Through the quantum link, Sarah quickly shared her calculations with the Meridian fleet. She could sense their discomfort with the plan. It went against everything they believed about proper technological progression and safe operation protocols. This is madness, one of the Meridian captains protested. The quantum field interactions could tear our ships apart. Or they could save all our lives, Zaraxus countered, their mechanical form humming with increased power. We must trust our human allies. Their chaos has wisdom we do not yet understand. The Harbinger ships pressed their attack, their void-based weapons creating distortions in space itself. But as they moved in for the kill, something unexpected happened. The Avalon's quantum field began to pulse with a new pattern, one that seemed to dance between order and chaos. Meridian Fleet, synchronize your field generators with ours, Sarah commanded, her fingers flying through holographic controls. Let the patterns emerge naturally. Don't try to force them into standard configurations. What followed was unlike anything either civilization had seen before. The quantum fields of the human and Meridian ships began to interact, creating complex interference patterns. The rigid mathematical precision of Meridian technology merged with the intuitive chaos of human innovation. The Harbinger ships faltered, their tactical computers unable to predict the ever-changing patterns. Their void-based weapons struck quantum shields that shifted and adapted with each attack, turning their own energy against them. Now, Martine is ordered. Full attack pattern. The combined fleet moved as one, their weapons enhanced by the merged quantum fields. The Harbinger ships, for all their advanced technology, couldn't adapt to the unpredictable assault. Their dark hulls cracked under the strain, void energy bleeding into space. Their field containment is failing, Sarah reported, watching through her neural interface as the enemy ship's systems began to cascade. The micro-singularities are collapsing. The lead Harbinger vessel was the first to fall, its hull breaking apart as its own void technology turned inward. The other two attempted to retreat, opening spatial tiers to escape, but the damage was too severe. Within moments, all three ships had been reduced to scattered debris floating in the void. As the quantum field settled back to normal patterns, there was a moment of stunned silence across all ships. The Meridian Fleet's perfect formation had been completely disrupted, their ships arranged in what would have once been considered a chaotic pattern. That, first speaker Nyleth said finally, was not in any of our tactical databases. Sometimes the best solutions aren't found in databases, Martines replied. They're discovered in the moment, when different ways of thinking come together. Through the quantum link, Sarah could sense a change in the Meridian leaders' attitude. Their rigid adherence to established patterns had been shaken, not just by the threat they'd faced, but by the solution that had saved them. Perhaps, Zaraxus admitted, we have been too committed to our established ways. Your chaos, humans, has shown us that innovation need not follow a predetermined path to be effective. As damage reports came in and repair crews began their work, Sarah studied the readings from the battle. The quantum field interactions between human and Meridian technology had created patterns that neither side had thought possible. It was a perfect metaphor for what their civilizations could achieve together. The bridge between stars had become stronger through crisis, forged in the heat of battle, and tempered by the recognition that both order and chaos had their place in the universe. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had proven they were ready to help guide that change. New Horizons. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Meridian Collective's central hub was a marvel of engineering, its crystalline walls shifting with patterns of light that reflected the quantum harmonies of 1,000 worlds. Today, those patterns danced with unusual vitality, influenced by the presence of the HMS Avalon's quantum field as it docked with the station. 3 weeks had passed since the battle with the Void Harbingers, and the galaxy was still adjusting to the implications of that encounter. The Avalon's crew had spent that time working closely with Meridian scientists, sharing insights and discovering new possibilities that emerged from their combined approaches to technology. Sarah Chen stood before the assembled council, her neural interface allowing her to appreciate the complex mathematical beauty of the chamber's architecture. Beside her, Admiral Martins and Dr. Kai Patel represented humanity's military and cultural interests. They faced not just the Meridian High Council, but representatives from dozens of member species, all gathered to discuss humanity's place in the galactic community. The evidence is undeniable, High Counselor Zeraxis announced, their mechanical form gleaming under the chamber's shifting lights. The Void Harbinger's return was not just a threat. It was a test that could only be passed through the combination of order and chaos, of established wisdom and innovative thinking. First speaker Nileth's mathematical form projected complex equations into the shared space. Our analysis of the battle data has revealed something remarkable. The quantum field interactions between our ships created patterns that our greatest theorists believe could revolutionize our understanding of space-time itself. That's just the beginning, Sarah said, stepping forward. She gestured, and her neural interface projected a holographic display of new quantum field configurations. By combining meridian precision with human intuition, we've discovered whole new categories of possible technologies. The Avalon systems have already been upgraded with some of these discoveries. A murmur ran through the assembled representatives. The idea of incorporating such new, untested concepts into established technology would have been unthinkable weeks ago. But the success against the Harbingers had shaken centuries of rigid thinking. There are still those who fear change. One of the council members noted, their energy form flickering with concern. Who believe that uncontrolled advancement poses too great a risk? Change always carries risk, Martins responded. But stagnation carries an even greater one. The Void Harbingers proved that. If we hadn't been willing to try something new, to combine our different approaches, none of us would be here now. Kai stepped forward, his anthropologist's training helping him bridge the cultural divide. What we propose isn't the abandonment of order, but its evolution. Humanity doesn't wish to disrupt the stability the collective has built, but to enhance it, to show that progress doesn't have to follow a single path to be meaningful. The chamber's quantum fields rippled as the council members communicated among themselves. Sarah's neural interface picked up fragments of their discussions. Debate about tradition versus innovation, stability versus growth, the known versus the possible. Finally, Zeraxis rose, their mechanical form casting complex shadows across the chamber. The Meridian Collective has maintained peace and order in this galaxy for millennia. We have guided countless species along the path of advancement, always following the patterns we believed were immutable. Humanity has shown us that these patterns can be flexible. First speaker Nileth's form shifted through rapid calculations before stabilizing. We propose a new protocol, the creation of a joint human meridian research initiative dedicated to exploring the possibilities that arise when different approaches to advancement are allowed to complement each other. The Avalon will serve as the flagship of this initiative, Martinez added, a bridge between our civilizations, proving that order and chaos can coexist and create something greater than either alone. Sarah felt her neural interface tingle as new data streamed in. Meridian ships across the galaxy were already beginning to incorporate elements of human quantum field theory into their systems. The rigid patterns of their civilization were starting to show signs of creative variation. There is something else, Zeraxis announced. Our long-range sensors have detected similar void energy signatures in distant sectors. The Harbingers we encountered may have been scouts. If more return, we will need the strength that comes from unity, not just in our fleets, but in our thinking. The implications were clear. The galaxy was changing, facing threats that couldn't be overcome through traditional methods alone. The combination of human innovation and meridian order might be the key to facing whatever challenges lay ahead. Then let this be the beginning, Martins said, his voice carrying across the chamber. Not just of an alliance, but of a new way of looking at the universe. Together, we can forge a path that honors both tradition and innovation. The assembly hall's quantum fields pulsed with approval, the patterns of 1,000 worlds synchronizing into a new harmony. As Sarah watched through her neural interface, she could see the mathematics of it, order and chaos dancing together, creating something beautiful and new. The Avalon's presence had catalyzed change throughout the Meridian Collective, proving that humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy might not be their technology or their strength, but their ability to show that different paths could lead to the same destination. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging that a new age had begun. In Earth orbit, construction had already begun on more ships incorporating the new hybrid technologies. Across meridian space, research stations were being modified to explore less linear paths of advancement. And in the vast darkness between the stars, humanity's first steps into the galactic community had become a leap toward a future where innovation and tradition, chaos and order, could coexist in harmony. The bridge between stars had become a bridge between ways of thinking, and the galaxy would never be quite the same again.